Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. As the Miami Dolphins gear up for the 2025 season, fans across South Florida are feeling a mix of hope and skepticism. After a disappointing 2024 campaign, expectations are cautiously optimistic, yet the national media seems unconvinced. A quick glance at the Week 1 power rankings paints a sobering picture. Across 9 major outlets, including Sports Illustrated, Pro Football Talk, CBS Sports, NFL.com, The Athletic, ESPN, The Ringer, USA Today, and The Sporting News, the Dolphins sit at an average ranking of 25.4, far from the playoff conversation. This reflects both a lack of confidence in the team's roster depth and lingering concerns about key injuries. Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, and Tua Tagovailoa remain pivotal, but questions about the secondary and edge rush positions loom large. Miami's coaching staff, led by Mike McDaniel, faces intense scrutiny as the season opens, needing a strong start to silence doubters and rally a fanbase eager for postseason redemption. Nationally, the Dolphins' position in the rankings reveals just how critical perception is in the NFL. Only The Athletic dared to place Miami as high as 19th, while outlets like Pro Football Talk and Sports Illustrated were far less generous, ranking them 29th and 28th respectively. CBS Sports and NFL.com offered middling assessments at 25th and 24th, reflecting a cautious acknowledgement of potential without ignoring the vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, USA Today and The Ringer remained skeptical, both slotting the Dolphins near 27th or 28th. These rankings suggest that the team will have to outperform expectations week after week to gain national respect. Injuries and roster turnover only compound the challenge, putting extra pressure on Anthony Weaver's defensive unit and McDaniel's offense to deliver. Fans watching these rankings can't help but feel the sting of doubt from pundits. Yet there's a subtle undercurrent of optimism if the team's stars stay healthy and chemistry clicks early in the season. Sports Illustrated's ranking of 28 highlights the uncertainty surrounding the Dolphins roster, particularly in light of injuries to Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. The analysis notes that Tua Tagovailoa's injury history adds another layer of complexity, leaving defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver with a monumental task. Despite finishing as one of the top 10 defenses in 2024, the team's ability to maintain that standard is questioned. Hill, Waddle, and McDaniel form a dynamic offensive core, yet the lack of depth and recent offseason roster moves introduce risk. Injuries have shifted expectations from a playoff run to a season of careful management and strategic planning. Observers worry about the team's capacity to maintain consistency, with weeks of brilliance potentially punctuated by games lost to ordinary opponents. This is the challenge Miami faces, leveraging its elite talent while compensating for fragility, uncertainty, and a schedule that demands immediate performance to stay in playoff contention. Pro Football Talk's even harsher assessment at 29 underscores a recurring theme: reliance on Tyreek Hill to carry the offense. They compare Hill to Davante Adams, framing him as a singular talent who could define the team's fortunes this season. When one player is singled out to this degree, it indicates structural concerns about supporting casts and overall team balance. Hill's ability to stay healthy and productive becomes paramount, while secondary weaknesses and edge rusher uncertainty could sabotage otherwise promising offensive output. The pressure on Tua Tagovailoa is equally palpable, as he must translate elite weapons into tangible wins while avoiding the pitfalls of inconsistency. McDaniel's coaching strategy, often praised for innovation, is simultaneously a high-wire act with little margin for error. Fans must hope that Weaver's defense can absorb pressure, Hill can perform at elite levels, and Tagovailoa remains durable, or the Dolphins risk slipping further in the rankings and missing postseason opportunities altogether. CBS Sports and NFL.com provide slightly more tempered perspectives, reflecting optimism tied to offensive potential and schedule advantages. CBS Sports ranks Miami 25th, emphasizing offensive continuity while highlighting secondary vulnerabilities as a potential Achilles heel. NFL.com initially placed Miami at 25th, but offered a mild correction to 24th, citing the passing game's continued viability as a power source. Both analyses converge on the idea that Mike McDaniel shoulders significant responsibility in shaping outcomes. His record of 28-23 over 3 seasons shows promise, but the negative trend since 2023 raises concerns. Off-season roster shifts removed key contributors, leaving younger, less proven players to step into critical roles. If Tua, Hill, and Waddle can maintain health and cohesion, Miami has a realistic shot at outperforming rankings, though inconsistency is almost guaranteed. Fans must manage expectations while savoring flashes of brilliance that could redefine narratives around the franchise before the season reaches its midpoint. The Ringer's ranking at 27 paints a picture of a team with tantalizing upside, but lingering fragility. The article praises McDaniel's implementation of the Shanahan system, leveraging elite speed and accuracy to create explosive plays, particularly with receivers Hill and Waddle and running backs Mostert and Achane. However, defensive concerns loom large, especially in replicating the production lost with Christian Wilkins' departure. The drafting of pass rushers, while forward-looking, leaves gaps in immediate defensive production. The piece emphasizes that excitement around Miami must be tempered with realism, noting that even well-constructed rosters can falter under pressure or injury. Analysts highlight that the Dolphins' early season performance could dictate the trajectory of the year, emphasizing that a few critical wins might restore confidence while losses could reinforce skepticism. Ultimately, Miami's situation is precarious, blending elite talent, coaching prowess, and structural uncertainties in a high-stakes NFL landscape where perception can shift overnight. USA Today's ranking, also at 28, echoes concerns regarding internal cohesion and player availability. Training camp injuries to key starters cast doubt on the team's ability to replicate strong starts typically seen under McDaniel. The analysis points to organizational issues within the building and on the field, suggesting that Miami's success is not guaranteed even with elite skill positions. When key players are not fully available or integrated, chemistry falters and execution suffers, particularly in a league where margins are razor-thin. The Dolphins' challenge extends beyond strategy and skill. It encompasses resilience, adaptability, and the ability to respond to early adversity. Fans should watch closely for how the team addresses these early hurdles, with the initial weeks likely setting a tone for the entire season. Miami's path to playoff contention will be a delicate balancing act between talent, health, and strategic management under the national spotlight. The Sporting News adds nuance with a 27th place ranking, focusing on schedule and coaching pressure. The Dolphins' early matchup against the Indianapolis Colts is framed as a crucial test, where a strong start could stabilize McDaniel's position and galvanize the roster. Conversely, slow starts or anemic offensive performances could trigger media criticism and fan discontent, highlighting the precarious nature of NFL coaching. This narrative underscores the broader tension between talent and execution. Even a well-constructed roster can falter without immediate results. Analysts suggest that Miami must capitalize on early opportunities to establish momentum and demonstrate cohesion. The weight of expectation, amplified by national rankings, places additional strain on a team still recovering from previous disappointments. How the Dolphins respond will influence both internal confidence and external perception, ultimately shaping narratives about McDaniel's tenure and the franchise's ability to contend in a competitive AFC landscape. The Athletic offers a more optimistic lens, placing Miami at 19th and emphasizing player development and readiness. Tyreek Hill, now more engaged in understanding the Dolphins' offense, could unlock previously untapped potential, while Devon Achane's expected return from a calf injury adds depth to the backfield. Rookie Ollie Gordon, too, also provides an insurance policy, highlighting a mix of veteran leadership and emerging talent. This perspective underscores that rankings are not destiny, but reflections of current assumptions, with opportunities for Miami to exceed expectations. Analysts note that if key players thrive and chemistry solidifies, the team could rise above the skeptics' projections, demonstrating that elite talent and effective coaching can overcome preseason doubt. Fans are reminded that the narrative is still unfolding, with early games providing critical data points that could validate optimism or reinforce caution, depending on execution and health across the roster. ESPN's ranking at 22 emphasizes both offensive promise and defensive uncertainty, framing 2025 as a career-defining year for McDaniel. The analysis acknowledges Tua Tagovailoa's upside but highlights offensive line concerns and the complete turnover of the secondary, leaving the team vulnerable against skilled opponents. Questions around edge rushers Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips further compound defensive uncertainty. Analysts stress that this season is pivotal. Strong coaching, strategic play calling, and player health are essential for success. The weight of expectations and skepticism creates a high-pressure environment in which Miami's ability to respond to adversity will define the narrative. Observers note that flashes of brilliance will be celebrated, but consistency remains the ultimate measure. The Dolphins' season, like many in the NFL, will hinge on navigating uncertainty while maximizing talent, with every game carrying outsized significance for both players and coaching staff. Looking ahead to Week 1, the Dolphins face the Indianapolis Colts, who themselves hold an average ranking of 25.9, making this matchup deceptively even. Analysts emphasize that while Miami's offensive weapons are elite, defensive questions and coaching pressure could turn early games into high-stakes experiments. Winning the opener is not just about record, but about setting a tone for the season, building confidence, and countering national skepticism reflected in power rankings. The matchup serves as a barometer for Miami's ability to combine talent, strategy, and resilience. Early results could amplify optimism or reinforce doubts, impacting team morale and fan engagement. In this context, Week 1 is far more than an opener. It is the first chapter in a story about redemption, adaptation, and the pursuit of playoff relevance in a league where every game can define legacy, narrative, and momentum. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The sports world woke up this morning to an absolute shocker that nobody saw coming. Rumors started circulating late last night that Travis Kelce, the perennial All-Pro tight end known for his unmatched playmaking in the Chiefs' offense, had made a stunning decision to leave Kansas City. Insiders whispered that Kelce was in serious talks with multiple franchises, with the market for elite tight ends heating up like never before. But the whispers grew louder, and by dawn, the news had begun to solidify into a near certainty. Travis Kelce had chosen the Miami Dolphins. Fans across the league were taken aback, some in disbelief, others immediately imagining the seismic impact this move could have on the AFC. The Dolphins, known for their dynamic offense and star-studded roster, suddenly looked like a true Super Bowl contender, and the NFL community couldn't stop speculating on how this signing would reshape the landscape. Sources close to the situation suggested that Kelce's decision wasn't just about money. Although the financial package reportedly offered by Miami was substantial enough to turn heads. Instead, it seemed to boil down to a mix of lifestyle, opportunity, and the chance to play in an environment that could complement his skills to the fullest. Miami, with its tropical climate, celebrity culture, and an offense hungry for dominance, apparently checked all the boxes for Kelce. Some insiders hinted at behind-the-scenes meetings with the Dolphins coaching staff that reportedly lasted hours, focusing on how Kelce could be integrated into their existing schemes without disrupting chemistry. There's even speculation that quarterback Tua Tagovailoa personally reached out, highlighting how Kelce's presence could transform the passing game and open up lanes that defenses simply wouldn't be able to cover. While the official announcement is pending, the rumor mill is spinning like crazy, with social media exploding with fan reactions ranging from euphoric to utterly stunned. If the move is finalized, the ripple effect across the NFL will be immediate and dramatic. The Chiefs, who have leaned on Kelce as one of the cornerstones of their offense for over a decade, will face a monumental challenge replacing his production, leadership, and sheer ability to draw defensive attention. Analysts are already crunching numbers, projecting the loss of Kelce as potentially one of the most impactful departures in recent memory. Meanwhile, the Dolphins are rumored to be orchestrating a full-scale media blitz to celebrate what could be the signing of the decade, signaling their intentions to dominate the AFC East and make a legitimate Super Bowl push. Bookmakers are expected to adjust odds as soon as confirmation arrives, and fans across Miami are reportedly already clamoring for jerseys, memorabilia, and tickets to witness what is shaping up to be a historic season in South Florida, with Kelce at the center of it all. Beyond the football field, the cultural impact of Kelce landing in Miami is a story in itself. Sources say that Miami's celebrity-friendly atmosphere, beaches, nightlife, and overall glamour played a role in the decision-making process, with Kelce reportedly enjoying the city's vibe during private visits. There's talk that his family and inner circle were heavily involved in weighing the lifestyle advantages against staying in Kansas City, where he's been a beloved figure but perhaps felt the urge for a fresh challenge. Sports commentators are drawing parallels to other star players who have moved not just for football reasons, but for a holistic life experience, turning Kelce's potential signing into a narrative that transcends the XS and OS. Miami suddenly feels like more than a football town. With Kelce's rumored presence, it could become a true epicenter of NFL attention, intrigue, and hype, feeding endless debates online and off. The NFL Twitterverse, as expected, erupted immediately with hot takes, memes, and speculation, some realistic, others bordering on fantasy. Fans and pundits alike are dissecting every possible consequence of Kelce in Miami. The adjustments for the Dolphins' offensive line, the redistribution of targets among wide receivers, and even defensive schematics across the league that would now have to account for a tight end who can change a game single-handedly. Podcasts are reportedly lining up interviews with former teammates, coaches, and even agents to analyze why this move happened now, why Miami, and what it means for the long-term balance of power in the NFL. The buzz has already transcended sports circles, reaching pop culture platforms where anyone remotely interested in football is now debating, predicting, and projecting the life-altering impact of a single player's decision on the league as a whole. Industry insiders are suggesting that the negotiations, while intense, were highly professional and underscored a mutual desire for Kelce and the Dolphins to create a partnership that would benefit both sides. Reports hint at a structured deal that balances immediate financial reward with performance incentives, ensuring Kelce remains motivated while Miami maximizes their investment. Behind closed doors, sources say there were heated discussions about contract length, bonus structures, and even image rights, highlighting how intricate deals for superstar athletes can become. Some former NFL executives have pointed out that this could set a precedent for other elite players considering a move not just for salary, but for situational advantage, signaling a potential shift in how top-tier athletes evaluate their careers, making the league's landscape more fluid and unpredictable than ever. The Chiefs' locker room, according to murmurs, is a mix of shock, respect, and lingering sadness. Teammates reportedly sent Kelce heartfelt messages acknowledging his contributions while secretly fearing the challenges of replacing a player of his caliber. Coaches are said to be formulating contingency plans, already analyzing draft boards and trade possibilities to fill the void left by Kelce's rumored departure. The emotional undercurrent of losing a player who has been both a leader and a statistical juggernaut is palpable. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly rubbing their hands with anticipation, sensing that the Dolphins' rise could create a new AFC powerhouse while the Chiefs recalibrate. The narrative unfolding here is not just about football strategy. It's about personalities, legacies, and the ever-changing storylines that make the NFL a theater of endless speculation. Financial analysts are quietly buzzing over the economic implications of this potential move. Kelce's arrival in Miami is expected to drive merchandise sales, ticket demand, and local sponsorship deals to unprecedented levels. Some sources even suggest that luxury brands and corporate partners are preparing campaigns centered around Kelce, leveraging his visibility and charisma to boost marketing reach. Stadium attendance projections for the Dolphins' home games reportedly indicate sellouts for months, with secondary markets inflating prices dramatically. Beyond football, the city itself could see a mini-economic boom tied to his presence, from hospitality to nightlife, as the narrative of a superstar athlete arriving in Miami captures the imagination of locals and tourists alike. If the rumors hold true, the impact extends far beyond the gridiron, touching business, culture, and entertainment in ways only hinted at in preliminary reports. Meanwhile, NFL commentators are engaging in deep dives about strategic implications, projecting how Kelce's presence could completely redefine the Dolphins' offense. Schemes that previously relied heavily on outside passing threats may shift to incorporate Kelce as a central weapon, forcing defenses across the league to rethink coverage strategies. Analysts are theorizing about new route combinations, red zone dynamics, and even the psychological effect on opponents who now have to account for a tight end capable of breaking games wide open. Rumors indicate that coaches are already sketching up potential plays that leverage Kelce's unmatched size, speed, and football IQ, and insiders suggest that the Dolphins' playbook could undergo a complete transformation if the signing is finalized. Every media outlet is feeding the rumor mill, dissecting every hypothetical scenario, fueling speculation that this move could alter not just one season, but the trajectory of multiple franchises. The social media fallout continues to escalate, with fans from coast to coast weighing in with opinions that range from elation to devastation. Memes proliferate, hashtags trend, and online polls explode with speculation about the first game Kelce will suit up for in Miami. Reporters claim that even casual sports fans, who might never have followed tight ends closely, are now glued to every snippet of information about this potential signing. Influencers are jumping into the conversation, creating content around Kelce's rumored lifestyle in Miami, potential highlight plays, and comparisons to previous legendary moves in NFL history. The narrative is no longer just a rumor. It has evolved into a full-blown cultural phenomenon, with every angle imaginable explored, debated, and amplified by a global audience hungry for the drama and excitement that only a superstar athlete can generate. Amid all this, whispers suggest that Kelce himself is enjoying the buzz, aware that every move, gesture, or comment could set off another wave of speculation. Sources claim he's been meeting quietly with close advisors, meticulously considering how to announce the deal to maximize fan engagement while maintaining a sense of professionalism. There's talk that the Dolphins organization is coordinating a multi-platform reveal strategy, including press conferences, social media campaigns, and possibly even a personal statement from Kelce to the public. Meanwhile, the NFL world waits in suspense, hanging on every nugget of information, rumor, or leak, knowing that when the story finally breaks officially, it will dominate headlines and social feeds for days. The suspense alone has become part of the spectacle, feeding the mythology of what could be the most talked-about off-season move in recent memory, with Travis Kelce at the epicenter of a hurricane of speculation, hype, and possibility. Even as the deal teeters on the brink of official confirmation, the narrative surrounding Travis Kelce in Miami has already begun to take on a life of its own. Analysts, fans, and insiders are connecting dots, speculating about future trade implications, fantasy football dominance, and potential playoff matchups that now carry a new weight with Kelce potentially suiting up for the Dolphins. The rumor, now amplified by countless online voices, has become more than a story. It's a living, breathing phenomenon that captures the unpredictability and excitement of the NFL. Every twist, leak, and whisper adds fuel to a fire that refuses to burn out, turning what was initially a simple player signing into a sprawling narrative with consequences, implications, and debates stretching across the league and beyond. The anticipation continues to mount, and the world waits for the inevitable confirmation that could forever alter the course of a franchise and the trajectory of a superstar's legacy. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.